I think we've finally nailed it. This backdrop. I love it. Look at that. I'm like so happy. The lighting setup, like the way the light's hitting this keyboard, like all of it, super stoked. Now, one of the biggest comments that I get, I know that every YouTuber is always like, I always get these comments about my skincare routine. One of the comments that I always get is, Chris, do more business tutorials. So for those of you that are new here, this is the first time that you're watching, my name is Chris Howe. I'm a photographer, not a photographer. I'm just joking. I just say photography weird. I'm a photographer, creative director of an agency, and I've owned a marketing company for the last 8 years. We've worked with brands like Mercedes-Benz, Corona, etc. We've had some success in this space, and what I would like to do today is share with you an amateur perspective to running a business versus a professional way of running a business. Now, when I first started, I didn't know anything. There was no resources online. No one was telling me this is how you should do business. This is how you get new clients. This is how you approach paperwork. And through experience and talking with other people, I've learned all these things. So I want to share with you my amateur mindset when I first started versus now my pro mindset, to the point where now we have an office, we have employees, we're making good money, and I want to be able to share that information with you guys. I don't want to just sit here all day because we do that all the time. Fun fact, I've lost 15 pounds recently, but then it went up 2 pounds last night. So I'm gonna go for a bike ride. Jesus. Okay, the first topic that we're gonna cover in terms of running a creative business, you know, amateur versus pro, is networking. Now, when I first started my business, I was like, I need to get clients. That's how we get money. So you need to get some clients. How do you do this? You need to network. So I was talking to my dad's friend, his name's Brian, and Brian's like, oh, you run this business. You know what you should do? You should come down to our networking event. There's a whole bunch of us and maybe you'll get some business. I was like, Brian, you're a genius. No, he wasn't. I'm sorry, Brian. You were wrong. So I went to like 5 of these networking events, and the problem with going to these events is it's just other people looking to network for other business. And you're going to this event being like, I don't have business to give. I'm looking for business. That's every other person at that event. Out of the 5 that I went to on the early stages, I literally only met 1 lead that could have led to something meaningful, and then it didn't pan out. I didn't get any money. Where I did make money and what I learned on the pro side, I started to become more strategic. So I was like, you know what? I really want to work with Mercedes-Benz. So what I did is I started working backwards. I did all the research. I was like, oh, they work with this agency. This agency works with this agency. So I did all my research on like LinkedIn, and I found the right people to network. So rather than going to networking events hoping you'll get business, be strategic with the projects that you want to work on, find those people and work backwards. And that's how a pro networks and gets the jobs that they actually want and gets paid. I'm standing in the middle of a bike path right now, and there's a plane overhead, which seems like a good time to move and find another spot to tell you in the next tip. Apparently cyclists aren't allowed to have kickstands. I learned this recently. If I put a kickstand on that bike, I'll be shunned out of like the cycling community. So now I gotta lean it on things and hope it doesn't fall. That's my greatest fear, is I'll be like talking about whatever it is right now, and then that bike will fall in the background, and I'll be like, see, should have had a kickstand. This is not important information. Let's get back to networking. So, it's 2020. A lot of people have different perspectives when it comes to business cards. I still think they're extremely valuable. For like 25 cents or 50 cents or $1, whatever you spend on your business card, it can actually lead to a lot of business. Like imagine from like having this business card, you can make like $500 off that client, $1,000, $10,000. Like that's a small investment, 25 cents. But it's 2020, and I think that the way that we use business cards has evolved drastically. I like having the tangible thing, but I think it's really important to make sure that you digitize it too. Past Chris, or Amateur Chris, used to just like grab business cards, shove them in his wallet or his pocket, then he would like do the laundry and forget about them. Then he'd like pull them out and all the cards would be damaged. He'd lose the contact. So what I recommend that you do, and what I've been doing lately, is I use Adobe Scan, and I actually scan the business card. There's like literally an app that will scan the business card and then add it to your contacts automatically. I think it's super important to make sure that your contact cards are fully filled out. I never want to be in a situation where it just says like, John met kayaking one time with cool camera. Fill out your contact cards and make sure they're digitized. It's 2020. It really doesn't take that long, and it will save you so much stress in the future. I don't know, like I walked out of frame, like I'm gonna walk to the next location. I'm gonna get this. theory that they designed this area so that people wouldn't sit or lean on this. Look how awkward it is to lean. Like no one wants to, it's too much lean. And then if you try to sit, you just like slide down it. All right, the next area that we're gonna be talking about is planning. Now I know this is generally pretty boring, but I have a little tidbit at the end which will allow you to charge more money. So follow me for a second. An amateur, when they approach planning, is that they don't plan at all. When I used to make videos for my clients, I would just like hope for the best. I would like talk to them and be like, I'll show up on Thursday at like 9 and we'll get some good B-roll. And I would make these montage videos. And that worked for a little while and my clients were like, we're happy, but like they were happy with like half the videos. And the other people were like, well, there's no story here. There's no planning. This video really doesn't have any substance to it. So what I learned is I was like, I need to actually start like providing scripts and I need to start planning these things. So at that point, Lizzie had joined on the company Know How Media and she was like, Chris, how do you even have clients? You literally don't have any documentation. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna start building scripts and start having vision boards and storyboards, scheduling, all these things that we could send to the client so they could envision what the project was like and actually feel like they could trust us with making the thing that they actually really wanted. There was something I learned in school called he who has the gold makes the rules, and you wanna do everything in your power to track revisions, to track the approval process, because ultimately you can get caught into one of these situations if you don't put the documentation up front. You can say, all right, I'm gonna make this video for you and like we'll hope that it goes well. And then all of a sudden you send the video and the client goes, you know what? I don't really like the direction of this video. Can we change the music? And then all of a sudden you're going down the rabbit hole of revisions and more revisions. And now you're at like the 10th revision. You're like, no, we can't do this. But again, he who has the gold makes the rules. So you gotta make sure that your client's happy. What we ended up doing is after we started sending documents and we would track the client revisions in like Adobe Acrobat, now we had everything in writing. We can see all their comments. We can make sure that all their approvals and changes are there. And what that does is when the client comes back on maybe the first or second round of revisions, they're like, you know what, we need to do more. You can go, hey, actually on April 12th, you said that this is good because you approved that and we have documentation of it. We have to charge you a bit more money for this next round of revisions. So use programs like Adobe Acrobat to track all your client revisions and approvals. That will make you more money. Specifically love about cycling is that you find parts of the city that you would never discover if you were walking or driving a car. I literally came across this spit that is so beautiful. It goes out to the waters. I think I'm gonna go do one of the next points down there, but like, look at this. It's so good to get outside sometimes, honestly. These willow trees, what? Oh, there's somebody in a hammock sleeping. That's the vibe. Yeah, I need to start bringing a hammock with me when I'm making videos. Okay, so the next area that we're gonna be talking about is contracts. Now, when I was first starting out, I used to do everything on a handshake. We'd have an email being like, let's do it, no problem. It works, you can get by for like a couple years like that, but the earlier that you can start having contracts in place, even if they're really basic ones, I would encourage you to do that. And then eventually you can keep working your way up and adding more to your contract. So it can start as little as, hey, here are the deliverables, I'm gonna promise you this by this timeline, and you can use it for these reasons. Cool, everyone signs off on it, bing, bada, boom, done. And then obviously you can go to all the other ones where it's like, the user rights for this project including the detrimental don't worry about it. But start using contracts as soon as you can. My only beef with contracts is that I hate when like a client comes to me and they're like, hey, here's the contract. Can you print this off and sign it and then scan it back and send it to me? No. You know in like The Office when Michael's like,
why don't you just send it over on a dinosaur?
That's literally what it feels like when people are like, print something off. Lizzie and I recently started using Adobe Sign for like all our documentation and contracts. The reason why is because we're already paying for a subscription, like a full subscription for Adobe to use like Lightroom and Premiere Pro and After Effects. So why not take advantage of like the other services that they have because it's included in the package and it's actually like really good software. So we've been using like Adobe Sign. Two reasons why we really like this is because there's like a phone app, so I can literally sign a contract and then text it to the person or email it to them right away. The other thing that's a really great benefit for this is that it has reminder services. It's literally like a little like digital nudge, like, hey, please sign this. It's not cool that you're not signing it when you promised me to sign it. Adobe Sign, great product, highly recommend. Links are below. Also Adobe, thank you for sponsoring this video. We're gonna move on. We're about to get serious for a second. Budgeting. This is how every amateur person budgets for a project? I think it costs probably somewhere along the ballpark of $2,000 for this video. No, what you're gonna start doing is you're gonna say, tell me about your project. What do we need to get this project done? And then what you're gonna do is research every single line item and everything that you need and the costs involved to make that project rather than guessing it. And that's how you build a proper budget. So if you guys want, I literally have a free budget template in the links below. Add in every line item. Videographer for the day, $500. Post-production services, 30 hours of editing. And you're gonna add up all these things, you're gonna add a final number, and then you can add a markup to that because you are the person that's putting it all together. In case you don't know what like a markup is, you know when you buy like a piece of clothing and you're like, it's $40 for a piece of clothing? Also, when did t-shirts become $40? Back in my day, it used to be nickel. But anyways, because you're the person putting together all these elements and delivering the final product, you should be adding a markup for that project because there's lots of elements involved. So you can charge maybe 10% on that final number or 20% or 30% depending on where you're at. So download that template, do your research, and stop throwing numbers at clients. Yeah, it could be, I don't know, $500 for this video. No, stop that. I have a confession to make. The whole point of this video, other than to educate you, was to go on a bike ride and try to lose weight. This new cookie shop opened up like a month ago, and they use Belgium chocolate in their cookies. I felt like I deserved it. This is a pro cookie. This is not an amateur cookie. Just look at that. Ooh. The next point I'm gonna call one-man band. When we're talking about like amateur versus professional, amateur, Chris Howe Jr., I was like, I can do everything. I'm gonna shoot photos, I'm gonna shoot video, I'm gonna do PR, I'm gonna do marketing, I'm gonna build websites. I would try to do everything so that I can get, obviously, as much money as I possibly could. But what happens in that case is your work suffers. You try to do too much, you take on too much, your mental health, you're working all the time, you start getting like anxious and tired and you're just like, it's too much. So obviously do that to an extent, but don't do it forever because amateurs will do this for as long as they possibly can. Pros go, hey, I've reached a point where I think we can start doing bigger projects, get bigger budgets, and we can work as a team because many hands make for light work. We live in this global marketplace right now where you can literally hire people from around the world. So what I would recommend is go to websites like Fiverr or Upwork and find people that can help you on these projects and bring those people onto your team so that you can do bigger projects and better work and ultimately make more money. All right, we're gonna head back to the office now. Okay, so before we get into our last point, I'm gonna have Lucas come in. I'm gonna ask him a question. So Lucas, come over here. Answer this question for me. That was really close. It was very close. Why do you think I hired you?
Aside from my dashing personality, I don't really know, man. It must have been just because I edit stuff and you needed an editor.
Get out. I'm gonna tell you why I hired you. Okay, Lucas is right to an extent. When I first put out like my posts, I'm like, I'm looking for an editor. Yes, I was looking for someone who had the skill set as an editor. But the reason why I hired Lucas was that he was nice, he was prompt, he responded to all my emails very quickly, he gave me a great customer and client relationship, he was accommodating, he was all the things that are more than just being an editor. So if you're a photographer or you're a videographer, you have to have this mindset. An amateur thinks that all I'm gonna give my client is a final video or final photos. No, you have to see through the entire process. What's it like when they first talk to you? What's it like when you send emails? What's it like when you send documents? What's it like when you give suggestions on creative? What's the post-production process like? Are you accommodating during revisions? That's the whole experience. And if you can understand that, you're gonna get more clients, you're gonna get more money, and you're gonna land more jobs. And that's the difference between an amateur and a professional. I do wanna give a big shout out to Adobe for sponsoring this week's episode. We talked about a few of their products in this video. So if you guys wanna go check out Adobe Sign for like contracts, Adobe Scan for like business cards, they have mobile versions, they have desktop versions. Their stuff is great. We love Adobe here, so links are below. Go check them out. And on that note, you guys know what time it is. It's my favorite time of every single video. Oh, this one doesn't creak. Here we go. This might be a bit much. Oh, you know, I should get Pop Rocks. And then I'll just let you listen to Pop Rocks. That's what I'm getting next time. Thank you guys so much for watching this video and joining me and watching the video, because that's what it felt like for me. You guys know what to do. Please press like. It actually makes a difference. Subscribe and hit the bell to be notified for future videos. And we'll catch you